Points.
Good day to you one and all, and welcome back to another episode of the Broad Points Podcast. I am your host, the Broad That Points, the Broad with the Points. It's me, Tyler, the lady. And on this week's episode, I am so honored to share with you a very special guest. He was once a radio DJ up in the Pacific Northwest. Now he holds titles such as personal trainer, nutrition coach, producer of the podcast. He's a variety of rats, including range, gym, and desert. And by far, his most impressive title, my boyfriend, Matt.
Hell yeah. It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining me. It's been quite some time since we've done a podcast together.
I know. It's good to be back on the mic. What do I do with my hands?
What do you do with your hands?
No, I'm kidding. I'm cool.
Is this your first time?
It is. Be gentle.
Well, like I said, I'm honored to have you here. I've alluded to you before, so it's really nice to let the ladybugs know that you're real.
Here I am in the flesh. It's great to be here in your art studio / everything else.
Yes. One thing I would say that I'm grateful for about you is the fact that you're not claustrophobic.
Correct.
Because this art studio, office.
Xero Shoes display center.
Yes. It could maybe be a little cramped.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, I'm no hoarder.
Nope. You're on the hoarder border. Look behind you. It's just a little busy. That's all.
It's a little busy. Okay. Matt is alluding to the fact that I own a lot of hats, amongst other things.
Yeah.
Actually, he could be alluding to a lot. Let's be real. There's possibly too much to encapsulate in word.
Yeah. I mean, there's that show about that organizer,
Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo. Your Marie Kondo meets hoarders. It's all organized over there. I mean, there's 9 drawers, all labeled. Is that 9? 10? 10. It's 10.
It's 10.
All right.
It's 10. Not to mention this cabinet over here, which has a filing cabinet in it with a lock. I really identify with organized chaos.
Yeah. Marie Kondo meets hoarders. I think it works. No, efficient, space efficient. It's very impressive. I could never do this. If I had this much stuff, man, it'd be a nightmare everywhere. So I applaud it.
The fact that I can find things. That's why I got a label maker.
Are your books alphabetized?
No.
Okay, just the spice rack.
Just the spice rack. The things that I use the most are put in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Other than that.
Did you tell them how it took me 2 years to realize you organized the spice rack?
Wait, what happened?
Yeah. It blew my mind. Because usually I just put the spice back where I took it out from and then don't pay much attention. It just goes back where the empty slot is. And then I've been doing that since we moved in, and it was 2 years since we had moved in, and I was like, wait a minute, are these organized by alphabetical order? And then they were. Great job. Never would have even thought of that.
See, when we moved in to our own place, I really decided that I wanted things to be different. I wanted to know where my spices were. And I am the first to admit that I have an abundance of spices.
Yeah, you're a spice girl.
I'm a spice girl. I'm a spice queen.
Yeah. Spice up your life.
Yeah, Ginger ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah. It's the spice world. We're just living in it.
We are. And eventually we actually are going to be living in it because we are going to go to Europe this year.
We are?
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I've booked a lot of it, so I hope we're going.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah, I hope we find a day in London to do the Spice World tour and just go to all the places in that movie.
We must. It's actually non-negotiable.
And season 9 of 24.
So that you guys know, Matt and I are very good at binging old shows. And quite recently, we just binged all of 24.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I don't even know what made... Oh, yeah, no, they announced that there was like a new movie in the works for 24. And I was like, dude, that show was so sick. And then we decided to rewatch it, I don't know, a while ago. And most shows these days don't have 24 episode seasons. So to make it through that, you know, if you're like, oh, I made it through 9 seasons of one of these new shows. It's like, yeah, it's 10 episodes a season. It's less than half of what we were up against. Like Jack was up against the clock.
Up against the clock. Yeah, what I'm hearing is that these kids these days have commitment issues.
Look, I don't want to sound like the old guy that moved to the desert to retire, but basically, commitment issues, I mean, can't stand those.
Can't stand
Don't
them.
have those, can't stand them.
Don't have those, eh?
Nope.
When did that start?
I mean, you know, I'm committed. My commitment's never in question.
No, that is actually one thing that I do brag about you is that I always know that you love me.
Yeah, thanks. That's good to hear. I mean, I didn't know we were going to go this route. I might be getting ambushed for not having to propose to Tyler by now. I can't tell, but I think, you know, rings symbolize commitment. Since I haven't put a ring on it for you, I have to live commitment each and every day.
Wow, that is just so beautiful.
It's more romantic, if you ask me.
It really is. I do actually have a friend that she said about how beautiful it was that you choose me every day.
Yep.
You don't have to be with me. You're not stuck with me. You didn't sign a piece of paper and now you're trapped forever.
Right. I'm not looking for an ROI on a big diamond investment.
Now I see your scheme.
Yeah. Yep, just the real deal, commitment in the flesh. Society has so much commitment issues, they don't even recognize it when they see it. They go, that guy has commitment issues. He hasn't proposed to his girlfriend in all these years. And I go, man, society has no commitment. It's all over the place. But, yeah, enough about us. Let's talk about me.
Let's talk about you.
No.
Do you just so happen to have a fundamental phrase that you would like to share with my listeners this week, Matt?
Yeah, I do. I didn't tell it to you in the pre-production meetings, so...
No, he didn't.
I'm sorry if that interfered with your usual planning.
Pre-production is a wreck.
But has another guest ever worn their fundamental phrase on their shirt? Like I have?
I cannot say that they have.
Okay, well, broad points first.
Broad
Here
points
it is.
first.
My shirt and my fundamental phrase is Hakuna Matata.
Ooh-wee, Hakuna Matata.
It's Swahili, I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's from The Lion King. It means no worries.
No worries. I love this. I actually, instead of saying no worries most of the time, just tell people Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way of life.
It's a way of life. And it means no worries for the rest of your days.
Which are incredibly numbered and not worth filling with worry.
Yeah, that's some truth, Matt.
Yeah. I didn't mean to get all dark. I'm just saying.
Yeah. What are you wasting your time on?
Yeah.
One life.
Right. So, it's I didn't really intentionally try to live a life of Hakuna Matata per se. I just kind of lived life my way, or the highway, and chose my way. And then my little brother had a daughter, my niece, who I love, and she's really into The Lion King. And we were singing Hakuna Matata one day, and I was like, dude, I nailed this. Here I am in my mid-30s, we'll call it, looking back and being like, wow, yeah, my life is Hakuna Matata, dude. Totally. No worries. Yeah, and it just dawned on me. It was cool. I was wearing this shirt when I was with it, and I was like, dude, I literally already have this shirt. I'm so Hakuna Matata right now. And, who knows if it subconsciously seeped into my brain when I was a young child in the 90s. Or, if they just got it right. But, yeah, I just think, so much of what we worry about is out of our control. And a lot of it never even actually happens the way that we were worried about it happening. And I just think stress is incredibly unhealthy. And so I'd rather have some, irresponsible or lazy or whatever other adjective you want to throw in there, tendencies like that, because I'm just not worried about it, than to be filling my body with cortisol every day and just hoping that works out. I don't gamble on sports every day,
Talks about it every day, but he doesn't do it every day.
I research. I strike when the opportunity makes sense and the line's in the right spot. But yeah, maybe I do worry sometimes about if I have a big parlay going, but that's about it. And that's just a little excitement. Who's to say that's worrying? That's just getting excited. But yeah, I don't know. I have a pretty, I've always, set my life up in a way that is very low stress, low, just kind of in hindsight, when I was hanging out with my niece and I was just like, dude, no joke. Eventually I got into fitness and health and learning about why stress is not healthy. And that kind of reinforced a lot of things, but I was never a big fan of being stressed and worrying. And so when I got to adulthood, I wasn't even worried about skipping class or getting Fs or getting suspended. I was just doing my thing, I was just having a good time. And so when I became an adult, obviously there's some responsibility you got to figure out or whatever, but I really never adopted getting worried about stuff. That just never got through to me. Maybe it's white privilege. Let's be honest. But yeah, I've never really like felt like it was doing me any favors. It didn't help me get anything done faster. And so, through a lot of trial, error, and procrastination, I've handled what I need to handle and have been remarkably unworried for most of my adult life.
Yeah. So you may say that although you didn't go looking for the Hakuna Matata lifestyle, the Hakuna Matata lifestyle found you.
Yeah, that's how real it is. Yeah, 100%. Don't watch the news. Do not watch the news. My God.
Toxic. I hate the news.
Yeah.
I can't with the news.
Today I had a client come in and he was all like worked up about something on the news, and I was like, did you see Justin Thomas shot a 61 yesterday or 62 yesterday? It could have been a 60 if he didn't bogey 18. And he's like, what are you taught? No. I was like, did you see Cooper Kupp signed with the Seahawks? And he's just like, what are you talking about? I was like, I thought we were talking about the news, man. Yesterday was a big news day. It's kind of, I just see it a lot where people are just like all worked up about stuff that's outside of their control and like just doesn't make sense to me.
No, and I think it's actually a fascinating point that you make here of, the same way that you can filter your social media, you can filter the news that you intake as well, because, there are some topics, that could be maybe a little heated, maybe a little negative, make you feel a little down. And then there's golf and football. And, if you're into pop culture, that's a thing. There's options.
Yeah. I don't, you can train your algorithm. There's a movie called How to Train Your Dragon. I never saw it. And you can train your algorithm now. And, because I asked him, I was like, my client today, I was like, so do you just like get news alerts on your phone? Like you don't even have to like seek out the news comes to you, huh? And he's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, all mine are just about golf and football. Even in March, I'm getting free agent updates on my phone without even asking for it. But I don't know. I seem less stressed than that dude. He'd agree. He asked if we could trade places for the day. I was like,
seriously. I mean, it is like an active choice. You can just tune those things out for sure. I mean, Apple is criminal, honestly, because even if you don't have a subscription to Apple News, they send you Apple News alerts so that it makes you want to click on it, so that then you want to subscribe and then hear more news. And I'm like, I don't need that. There's a hack. You can actually turn it off. You can turn off the notifications and I just found this out like a couple years ago. Honestly, probably within the last year. Let's be real. Because it would get me at like the craziest times. Like I would just pick up my phone in the morning and there would be Apple News alerts. And I'm like, bomb went off, earthquake. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how we're starting the day today.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, we're not meant to live like that for sure. Yeah, I don't get it. Like people literally pay to get the news. What? Like now you're spending money on this stuff? Like, come on, go buy some cigarettes or something cool at least. Get some Marby Reds. Let's go.
You're the Marby
Reds. I don't
Reds.
smoke, but I used to, and I like to talk about it around Tyler like I still fiend for them. It's just fun. It's just a bit. Don't worry.
It's a bit. If he was smoking cigarettes, I would not. I can't do it. It's too much. I can't. Almost even as much as he talks about cigarettes, just the taste in my mouth, it'd be too much. But that's what love is, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah. I mean, it's as soon as I can get a rise out of Tyler, I'm going to run it into the ground as a bit. It's going to turn from some dumb thing I just said off the top of my head to, if I get a good reaction, it's becoming a bit.
Yes, comedically awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, that's my style. Yeah, I don't know. I just like to have fun, and messing with you is one of my favorite ways to do it. So just what it is.
You make it sound like you're like pranking me all the time. Like,
Yeah.
he just tells dumb jokes.
Yeah.
But I will say that I laugh with you all of the time.
That's good. That's a healthy sign, I think, right?
Oh, is that a healthy sign? Is that what they say?
I think so.
In the books?
Yeah. I don't know. I think we should wake up and read the news to each other. We'll both go and get different news sources, and then we'll just discuss the current events of DC and beyond.
Yes, it will, begin the depression debates.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
where you streamline your depression and anxiety first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Get it out of your system early, right? Isn't that how that works?
I don't know about this.
No, I don't think so.
No, I feel like I've been like pretty firmly off the news. Other than my work computer, it like pops up in the little corner sometimes and I'll click on it because I'm just curious. I am so good at being secluded.
Yeah.
I'm so good at isolating and then just be like, what happened?
No, I think I'm out of the loop on a lot of those things. And then you'll be weeks behind me, which is,
if not months,
really saying something.
Or years.
Yeah. It is a really
admirable. Is that the word you're looking for?
No, it's a really helpful thing in today's world. Like, and I would say like us both not caring about the news is like a really strong foundation of this relationship.
I would say so. In addition to being able to talk about the stuff that does come up, like, which I think is important in a partnership, in a relationship, you should be able to talk to your partner about things.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously. But you got to laugh and not watch the news too.
Yeah.
That's where we just really excel, and then it makes the communication on everything else a lot easier. Like, people don't always agree on the news, and then it destroys relationships.
It does. It does. I was just watching this last season of Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Ruined.
These monsters.
By the news.
Did they not listen to Timon and Pumbaa?
They had all the worries.
Yeah.
All the worries.
You guys are doing the exact opposite of Hakuna Matata.
Which I feel like actually would be so applicable to that show, is like, no worries, because it's like, no worries. It doesn't matter what they look like. No worries. I want to marry them. Like, no matter what, the outside forces, it doesn't matter. But then, I mean, I was shooketh. I didn't know there was going to be 4 weddings. This is totally a spoiler alert, and I'm going to say it. So spoiler alert, but there was 4 weddings at the end, and I was like, all right, at least 3 of those are for sure happening, and only 1 of them happened.
That's wild.
It was so wild. But it was just, not being able to communicate about topics, whether that be religion or race or politics. That was one like big major thing. And not being able to communicate their feelings with each other. So it was, I don't know. It was wild. I was shooketh. I don't know that I fully cried, but like my eyes teared up. For sure.
Well, it's probably for the best.
On that,
hate to say it, but
in that show, definitely.
Yeah.
But there have been some successful relationships on the show. I haven't watched all of the seasons.
Yeah.
But there have been some relationships that have withheld the test of time.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, you got to have some stuff in common with your partner. So like if you're both the type of people that want to be on a reality show, you have that in common. And then the experience of being on a reality show is pretty unique, I would imagine, especially something like that, where then you have that shared experience. So those are 2 like decent starting points, I feel like.
Right. Decent. I don't know how shallow this person is. I don't know anything else about this person, but hey.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
You got some commonalities. Good for you.
Yeah.
What do we have in common?
Attractiveness? They don't know. They're doing the crap. So I'm just saying, if like physical attractiveness isn't part of it, And, I'm not going to get on with online dating and what was it called? Not gaslighting. Catfishing.
Catfishing.
Yeah. They're not getting catfished. They're getting soul fished. They're like getting to know one another before they see what they look like. But they don't have a misrepresented idea of what the other one looks like. It's not some guy with a 8-year-old photo when he had hair and his beer belly hadn't gone out of control. And I'm not going to say anything about ladies doing it. That would be rude, but take that, guys. Yeah, like there's no deception about appearance. It's just a black hole of mystery of what does this person look like. So I don't know. I just feel like I got really lucky meeting you. But back to my fundamental phrase, I wasn't worried about finding a girlfriend at the time.
You weren't? Tell me more. What was your situation?
Well, there was short times after my previous relationships where I wanted to get into another relationship because you get so used to having this other person around and all this stuff. And then if you want a relationship, it's significantly harder to find one. And then both times after, I'd just find happiness on my own. And then it was then I just had options for relationship presented to me by the universe. And it was much, much less stressful and just wasn't on the prowl, as they say. Is that what they say still? They used to say.
They used to say, back in my day.
Yeah. I guess there's an aggressive undertone to that, but it's I don't know. Just, yeah.
Were you hunting?
I was respectfully prowling.
It was a respectful prowl.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Matt, you just have some really quality lines. Matt is just such a nice guy. I'm not going to go into the background of what this line was from, but one of his classics that I use on him now is "Feel seen."
Why not? Why don't you go into the backstory?
What's the backstory, Matt?
No, we're not getting into that. Yeah.
You're a good guy.
I'm a good guy. I'm a nice dude. Nice guys finish last.
Feel seen.
That's what they say. Yeah. It's a Green Day song.
Feel seen. Stand up guy. I just can't get enough of you. And I too was not looking for a relationship, but I had been a listener. I don't want to say long time listener because I feel like that implies that I listened since episode 1, but I listened to quite a bit. I wasn't creepy, I feel like, because I feel like maybe some podcast listeners, I was going to say when you were talking about when relationships were being presented, the thirsty ones I call vampires. They just come to suck the happiness out of you. And yeah, and so I was I don't know. It was an interesting time to be alive. I had been in an abusive relationship before. I mean, kind of multiple, but then it was this time of finding myself. And I mean, at that time, I was hiking every single weekend. I would go out either by myself or with a friend and we would just do a hike. And so I feel like I just really took the time to find myself and reset my whole mind-body connection at that time. And I don't know, I just feel like I found myself in the right place at the right time kind of thing. And I just remember bumping into you at the Window Pane concert, which you don't remember.
Oh yeah, how could I forget?
Which you don't remember.
I don't remember not remembering at this point. It's been so long.
So now Matt is gaslighting everybody that he remembers this.
Plausible deniability. Prove that I didn't remember it before.
You're right. He remembers it vividly. I said, LARP on. And he said, what?
It was loud.
It was loud. I'm joking.
Literally a rock concert.
It was literally a rock concert. We were literally at a rock concert. Matt didn't write me a song about, meeting at a rock concert or anything like he once did for one of his past flings.
She was not a fling.
What would you call that, Matt? Please tell the listeners. Where did you come from?
It was just, it was a little, I just liked flirting with girls in different ways in high school. Nothing inappropriate. I mean, yeah, I was just having fun. I just kind of, took the song The Rock Show by Blink-182 and just kind of reworked the lyrics for an attractive girl in my grade at the time. At the time. I don't like being like, oh man, sophomore year, that chick was hot. Like, you don't want to talk about like hot high schoolers, but I was in high school at the time.
So it was okay.
Felt okay. I mean, it was a different time back then too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, American Pie came out when we were in high school. Like that portrayed high school life. That's just wild to think about by today's standards.
So that came out when maybe you were in high school.
That's what I said.
I may or may not
we're
be
in our 30s.
a little younger, but we're in our 30s. We just classify it as we're in our 30s. And honestly, it's not that big of an age gap in, comparison to some of the people. And, that we both know or, exist out in the world.
Oh, man, this place down here. There's 30-year gaps all over this frickin' desert.
Mm-hmm. And what are we, like 6.5, 7?
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah. There's age gaps older than you out there right now.
Older than me entirely.
Probably some older than me too, but yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. Age is just, it's just an organization system.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have time to get into time right now, but all there is now. That's all you get.
All there is now. Seriously.
And that last now I was just talking about, that's gone forever.
Forever. Wasted away.
It's the new now.
It's
always the new now.
Which gives you the opportunity to decide what you want to do right now.
For real.
You never have to worry because there's always a new now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What gets me the most is like, I suppose from a certain standpoint, the biggest worry is like, you're going to die. But then once you're dead, there's no worries. So why worry now?
Truly.
And so anything that comes, everything else seems pretty minuscule in comparison to like death. And then, if I'm not worried about death because I'll be dead, what the hell am I going to worry about other stuff for? That's just the truth of the situation. Sorry if it seems a little grim, but, your listeners are going to die too. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not, but yeah, it's just... I'm at peace with my own eventual demise.
Matt also has great bedside manner. But it is true. You're definitely not wrong. I love your comedic delivery and timing with things, which is why I do think that I'm with you and I love you so much. But it's true, like we only have one life, and like a part of life, a part of being born is knowing that you're going to die, is kind of knowing that everyone's going to die. So, I mean, what do you want to leave on this planet? Like, what is your impact? What is your reach? What is your purpose? Whatever you want to call it, what is it? Like, what are you applying yourself towards? And I mean, that's kind of why I started this podcast and why I continue to have guests on, is just to be able to hear other people's perspectives.
Am I the most jacked guest you've had? I'm worried about that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like having fun is just a way better use of your time. And we've done a good job of setting our life up accordingly, I would say. Yeah, and like fun takes a lot of forms. Like if we thought of having fun as going out to the club, we'd have a bad time. But like,
Could be miserable.
yeah, it's just like dumb stuff and pretty sunsets. Like it's pretty fun. So yeah, that's it's all like, I don't know, I just feel like Hakuna Matata encapsulates all of it. Like and I don't worry about things that most people worry about. And this is the end result. And this this attractive lady thinks it's cool, so that's the most important thing for me. And I've just I don't know. It's been a fun ride so far, and I just kind of want to like keep doing what I've been doing, and or keep doing it the way I've been doing it, and I'll do new things, I guess would be the better way to put it. But yeah, just I'm really curious. I think in like the next 20 or 30 years, we'll look at stress the way we, like as like, dude, that's a known thing that will just, because it's like linked to like so much bad stuff and disease and things like that. But it's not like proven to be the defined cause of really anything. But it seems to make all of them worse for sure. And yeah, it's tough to identify anything as like the root cause of X, Y, or Z these days, but like stress is a big contributing factor, and do whatever you can to avoid it and just like Hakuna Matata out.
Yeah, I do think that, for all of the things that we have in common, there are some things that we have, that are different. And one of those things is actually your ability to be able to handle stress. And, in addition to a lot of other things that I learned from you, and that I think, it's important to, be able to learn from your partners. It's really taught me to grow and to continue to find ways to de-stress. That's both mentally and physically, right? Because I think about these periods, and Matt, you do such a good job at loving me through all of these periods and all of these phases that I go through, where, I feel like I'm just able to really be myself and just fully learn and not feel judgment from you. And I'm just so grateful for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Or thank you. I'm not sure. Both. That's a both one.
Both. And I mean, honestly, without you, I wouldn't have, pushed myself to do a lot of the things that I do. Not to give you credit for the things that I do, but, there are times when like I don't want to move, and I don't want, like I'm overeating, and like that is stressful on your body, when you do that. When I do that, it is stressful. So if you're also doing that out there, it's okay. But just recognize that it is stress that you're putting on your body. And, in addition to mindfulness and meditation and de-stressing mentally, we do have to get rid of that physical stress. And so, for me, it's been a dance journey. And, for you, you have had your own journey. What has that looked like for you?
Let's see. The biggest things were I started working out, and then I stopped drinking. And the events leading up to those, I just didn't like the way I looked in my early 20s, and I realized I couldn't do really anything about the areas above my neck. I later found Propecia, which was helpful, but at the time, didn't even know about that. I was just like, all I could really do is like start lifting, and I was in Santa Barbara, and everyone was hot, and my roommate was on steroids, but I didn't know it, and I was like, he's jacked, dude, that's tight. And so he was like, yeah, dude, just read this book. It was the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's like, I'll take you to the gym, and I'll show you around or whatever, and then we can, I don't know if we'll work out together all the time, or we'll just, I'll just kind of make sure you can get going. And then I just fell in love with it. I would smoke some pot and put on heavy metal and just like have an hour to an hour and a half a day of just like me time that was, there's always pretty girls around. I never was like creeping on them. It was always like, man, yeah, you'll just, if I ever run into one of them at Trader Joe's, I'll be able to be like, you're a guy at 24-hour fitness? Me too. That was always my thought process in the gym with hot girls in Santa Barbara. It was like, no, I'm not staring at them. If there's one, if any of them, like, if we're regulars, we recognize each other outside of there, great. But like, there's no need. They're all around. You just like, it's just nice to be around. You don't need to stare. Like, you're going to see butts in yoga pants just walking around and trying to do your workout. You don't need to stare at all. And so I just loved the experience. Like, it was nice scenery, but it was really like just like the combination of like the music and the movement together, and just like then I got really into just like seeing my muscles grow. It was just tight. I don't know what. I wish there was a deeper thing beyond that. It was just like, dude, that's sick. And so I kept with that, and that like, definitely gave me some confidence, and I think people started treating me a little bit differently. I don't know for sure, like, but I just think that like when people can tell that you make the time to work out regularly, certainly like bros will kind of say it, like, admittedly, but it just made kind of as a force multiplier. It just made like every area of my life somewhat better, and in some cases a lot better. And then including, I met, I'll name drop him, he won't care, but I met a now famous comedian, not famous at the time, by the name of Dan Soder. And the first time we hung out, like, he complimented my muscles, and he was so cool, like, because he was already in New York at the time, and he like would hang out at the Comedy Cellar and like knew all the guys, and we were both like big fanboys of kind of the old generation of New York comics, of Jim Norton and Patrice O'Neill and Bill Burr and stuff. And so we like geeked out, and he said something about like, well, no one would mess with you because you're like all jacked and stuff, and I didn't even think I was that big at the time. I was like, dude, hell yeah, this guy, and he's a big dude. He's tall.
He's tall.
So that felt good. And then Dan and I developed a little bit of a friendship where we would get really, really drunk every time he came to town. And then eventually he stopped drinking, and it was funny because like I was working overnights at the radio station, and then I would go home and just like have a few beers before bed, because it was just like, yeah, and just like having a few beers when I get off work. It's just normal guy stuff, And then I was like, I saw Dan was on this podcast, and I was like, dude, Dan's all right, sick. I'm going to get some beers, and just like, it'll be like we're hanging out, and I'll just listen to his podcast. And then he gets on, he starts talking about how he stopped drinking. And I was just like, what the hell, dude? Like, drinking a PBR by myself at like 6:15 in the morning. Like, what is going on? And so it wasn't like a big wake-up call per se. He just really sold it as like, he doesn't go to AA. He still smokes pot. He had to like get through the first few months like just leaning on other vices like cigarettes or whatever, and just like He's like just cutting out alcohol, and he just made a hell of a case. He's like, dude, I just have more time, energy, and money, and like I don't spend them all productively. Like I watch way more wrestling, I play way more video games, two things that I don't even really care about. But like I was just like, dude, this guy's just like a teenager again. And so then I read the book that he talked about that he had read, The Easy Way to Stop Drinking, and just tried to give it 3 months without alcohol, and it really worked. Like, you know, I noticed the same thing of like, wow, I got more time, energy, and money, you know, and I had a few things. I was like, oh, I'll start drinking again after 3 months. Oh, you know, I'll wait till New Year's. I'll wait till this wedding I'm going to. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to get a full calendar year before, you know, and then it was like, eventually I was like, dude, what the hell would I go back for? Like there was nothing compelling enough about alcohol to go back to. And I noticed the same thing about like working out, where like every area of my life was getting impacted by this simple little thing and making it better. And again, in some areas, like really big time. In other areas, you know, it's just a little bump or whatever, and you know, some of it might have even been like me making up the story of like, oh well, yeah, well, you know, this, that, or the other. But like I had more money in my bank account, my abs were visible, like I was happy, I was, you know, finding other ways to occupy the time. And one of those was like, that's when I started studying to become a personal trainer, because I was just like into the fitness stuff. It would have worked with my radio schedule to personal train in the afternoons and or early mornings. And it just seemed like a cool thing to do, like to help people with their fitness journeys. Just sounded fun. And so I started getting certified as a trainer, you know, shortly after stopping drinking, just to fill the time that I used to get spent on alcohol. And like, then that took off, and here I am.
And here you are. And I'm definitely always happy to, you know, do a name drop when we're plugging someone super awesome like Dan, because Dan is one, hilarious, but also just like one of the nicest guys that I've ever met.
Yeah, very cool dude. Yeah, and he's blown up, like, you know, like since he stopped drinking, his career has just gone on this crazy trajectory. And so like watching him is always kind of, you know, inspired me and motivated me of like, oh, dude, yeah, I want to make my moves too. And yeah, it's been a fun thing. I barely talk to the guy, you know. Anytime I do text him, he's pretty stoked to hear from me, but like I'm just like, he's over there, he's a big deal, he doesn't need to hear from my dumb ass. Like he's got Tim Dillon texting him and Shane Gillis and stuff. Like, what the hell does he want to hear from me for? But you know, yeah, he hasn't left me on red yet. So yeah, one time Tyler and I were in New York, and like we were trying to go to the Comedy Cellar, but it was sold out. And like I just bumped into Dan on the streets of New York and was like, "Oh, what's up, dude? We saw you at the stand on Monday. We're just going, or at the Cellar on Monday. We're just going back to tonight to try to get in." He's like, "Dude, I'll get you in." And just like next thing you know, we were just seated, no sweat. And yeah, so he's just the coolest guy, and you know, I just love being a little part of, you know, his sort of trail of influence of like, yeah, dude, I'm just kind of riding that wave too. And yeah, it's worked out pretty well for me too. I really enjoy my days, and you know, like every, you know, sick thing that happens to me down here is because I'm a trainer. Like I moved down here to be a trainer at this other place, and have met so many cool people and have so many wild stories from it, that they're all like, they were all seeded from I stopped drinking, so I became a trainer, which was preceded by I started working out in my 20s because I was insecure, you know, and like I wanted to do something about it. And so I did. And yeah, it's just been tight to just kind of, you know, see where life's taking me. And alcohol takes people some dark places. So
golly, does it. Yeah, that's like honestly what I was going to say too about Dan. Like, I'm so grateful for him because without him, quitting drinking, then you wouldn't have quit drinking. And then I wouldn't have probably quit drinking because I mean, the people that I grew up with and, the family that I'm a part of, like it's a part of the culture, to drink heavily. And I don't think that, with as much societal acceptance is put on it, that it is acceptable. Like, it is poison. Not having control over your body and your thoughts and, your overall being is like, it's really not okay. That was like never really told to me. And it was funny when I was actually talking to Alina and she had mentioned, I was like, yeah, back in the day we would just like drink heavily like once a week or a month or whatever. And she goes, oh yeah, we didn't know that was another form of alcoholism.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess that I could say that I was an alcoholic.
Yeah. Ignorance was bliss. I mean, I think it was our friend. It might have been while we were in Amsterdam with him, but someone somewhere along the way said, like, if alcohol didn't exist, would you invent it? Like,
right.
No, I mean, if I knew how much money I could make off of it, like, maybe. But, like, no. Like, you would never choose that list of consequences, including the good ones, Not saying it's all bad, but like the trade-offs to me just seem objectively like not worth it.
Right. And I mean, even if people want to call it a medicine, I think that there's a level of mindfulness that needs to be practiced with medicine, number one. But two, it's a depressant. Like, what are you taking a depressant for? You're too happy? Are you too happy in this life? You need a depressant?
It's the cure, yeah.
I'm really, I'm feeling not confident. I think I need to take a depressant.
Right. Yeah. I remember when they were teaching us in DARE or whatever, and they're like, some drugs are categorized as depressants. And I was like, what? That sounds terrible. Like, turns out the most popular one is legal, and they didn't even really talk about it in DARE.
Nope.
I've still never seen heroin in the real world. Learned all about heroin. Then no one was like, alcohol is by far the most popular drug you will encounter in your adult life.
Yeah, because most people don't even see it as that. Most people don't even classify alcohol as a drug.
Yeah.
Which is absurd to me.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe because it's poison, so they don't want to call it a drug.
Right. It's already got a name, dude. It's already categorized.
If it has to have the Mr. Yuck sticker on it, is it a medicine or is it poison?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, I don't know. It's wild. It's cool, like, how much I've seen everything, like, grow from there, too, because, like, when I first stopped drinking, like, there was only like a couple brands of non-alcoholic beer. Like O'Doul's was awful, hated it, never wanted to order it. And then it was like St. Pauli's and Beck's you could find sometimes. And now, like, I don't even know the last time I saw O'Doul's somewhere, but like Athletics and Buffalo Wild Wings and Heineken's all over the place. And like, there's like 20 different non-alcoholic beers from major beer manufacturers. Now, I haven't even tried them all. I used to be able to keep up with the non-alcoholic beer game. And now, like, I'm just like, dude, what? Corona has one? I have tried that one. It's super good. But like, Sierra Nevada has one. There's a bunch of brands that I'm like, dude, I don't drink non-alcoholic beer like I used to. Like, it was a helpful crutch for a while there. And I loved it, and I still do, but like, I don't drink enough of it that I could keep up with all these new releases. It's just gone gangbusters since back in my day.
In my day.
Do you have non-alcoholic beers? We just have O'Doul's. Ugh, I'll take a soda water. Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned the word crutch, which I mean, like, it can be a thing, if like you feel like you need a crutch, that could absolutely be a thing. One thing that I realized when I stopped drinking was nobody cares what's in your hand. Like, you could have just a red Solo cup in your hand with water, And like, if you're just having a good time, like, people don't care. People don't notice. And the people that do try to peer pressure you and like do try to like get in your face about it, like, that's just, they're saying some things about themselves. It's not about you, you know, and you can just continue to stick to your guns and like not drink, but it literally doesn't matter. Although now they do have a wide variety of things that are delicious that, I don't know. I just keep thinking of being at the hot tub with our neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
We have some really funny, really nice, very nice. I want to preface this with very nice neighbors.
They're not going to hear this.
They're
Don't sugarcoat it.
AA neighbors.
Yeah.
And we were down there with they're hop waters, really. It's like tea, basically, that has hops in it. It's delicious. Absolutely no alcohol. And I believe it's decaffeinated tea, so there's not even caffeine in it. Not like, you know, when they put the Red Bull with the depressant, you know, to give it wings. No.
Yeah.
Just no alcohol. Hydrates you, even. Yeah. And yeah, just a good time. And then they went off.
Dude. Yeah.
What did he say, Matt?
Well, we were talking, and they mentioned, as a lot of people in AA do, how they're in AA. And we were just talking that they were just telling some other stories, and, you know, I was like, yeah, I've been drinking in over 11 years, you know, and I was like, oh, this is not beer, actually. It's like, it's not even non-alcoholic beer. It's just, and I was like, non-alcoholic beer? Yeah, but I had one of my sponsees asked me about non-alcoholic beer, and said it should be okay because it's not beer, but it just kind of feels like it without actually getting you drunk. And I was like, yeah, why don't we just get some baking soda and smoke some rock without meth in it? And I was like, wow, dude, that is a jump.
Yeah, why don't we just do a line?
My
I'm
legs
like,
are tired just watching that jump, bro. God.
Oh, it was so funny. Yeah. And I mean, there are different ways to not drink. I'll say that. Like, I've never been, I think you've been to an AA meeting, but I've never actually been to an AA meeting. I mean, you can just choose to not drink because it's stupid.
Yeah,
or because for your health, honestly. Like, if you want to put it into perspective, you know, and you want to stop drinking, like, it can be for your health if you need to put a label on it.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep drinking, you can do that too. If you need advice, I also don't care. I don't tell anybody how to live on this podcast. Just how we're living.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, yeah, I don't really care if people drink. I don't find myself in situations where I'm annoyed by drunk people very often. And when I am, usually there's a band playing that's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah. No, I think drunk people make good people watching for the most part, as long as they're not too rambunctious or out of control.
Yeah, I wonder what the world would look like without alcohol, but I kind of like the world we're living in, where a lot of people are drinking and creating funny viral videos and creating funny scenes that I've seen. And in my experience, everybody's drinking makes it easier for me to get ahead and do what I want to do. There's less competition.
So keep drinking, everyone.
Yeah.
We're just going to step on your empty bottles to climb our way to the top.
Right.
That's the fun of it, really. I mean, like I said, you don't have to change your whole life because of this, but it is just fun to share different perspectives and honestly get to share Matt with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It has really been such a pleasure to be back on the mic with you, you know, fellow Xero shoe lover.
Don't get me started. I have a bunch of pairs too. Use Tyler's affiliate link. I hand her affiliate link out to people too.
He does. Matt is like my biggest cheerleader possibly of all time. He is my hype man. Everybody always talks about how I'm a hype woman, but you are the hype man behind the hype woman. And although we argue about who loved Xero shoes first. We both love them. We do. And we are sitting here amongst 3 new pairs of my Xero shoes here. Matt is probably both impressed and disgusted.
Well, I would actually like to make this read about me too. Because unlike Tyler here, I'm a more discerning consumer who has evaluated the rest of the barefoot shoe marketplace a little bit more thoroughly. I have multiple brands of barefoot footwear offerings. And so Tyler's all Xero all the way. So
I'm loyal.
She loves them, deservedly so. But I have about 4 pairs of non-Xero barefoot shoes. And so I can confidently say Xero is the best because I've tried the competition, and Xero with an X, number 1.
Xero with an X. Xero with an X. They are number 1 in our hearts and on our feet. They are number 1. Although Matt is unfaithful in the shoe community.
That's how we're going with that. Bring some real perspective to this cast, and that's the treatment I get. No, I'm kidding.
He is loyal to me, and he is loyal in his love for Xero shoes, as you could be. And if you want to try out a pair of Xero shoes for yourself and pay me at the same time, you can use my Xero affiliate link. It is xeroshoes.com/go/Tyler the Lady. Now,
I have a question. Do they make the Wins in men?
They do.
They do. The Wins are so sick.
The Wins
I might have
are
to cop a pair
so
of those.
Sick. WYNN. Because why not? They're so cool. I love them. Like I said in my video about them that I posted on my social media, where you can find me at Tyler the Lady, they're reminiscent of older styles, of retro styles.
Yeah.
But with the barefoot sole and the wide toe box. It's just next level.
I'm looking this up.
Yes.
I'm looking up the men's Wins.
And Matt, while you do that, can people follow you? Can people find you? Or
yeah,
are you
they
that?
can. I try to be somewhat more discreet and anonymous with my digital presence because I was kind of wilding out there during the pandemic, and now I have a job that I don't want to lose. But you can find me on Instagram at the other MLK.
He's private, so he may or may not approve you.
Yeah.
But he's out there. His presence is out there. The Wins are sick. He may or may not buy them on my Xero affiliate, the link, as you can for yourself. And Matt, just thank you so much for your time today. And, you know, without you, there wouldn't be a Broad Points podcast because, I mean, there wouldn't have been our other podcast and I wouldn't even know how to run this machinery. So thank you. And I love you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I love you too.
With that, shall we say your fundamental phrase for the week? Just one more time, darling.
Sure. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Ain't no passing phrase. Still going strong 30 years after that movie came out. Whatever it's been.